Hey, Karen. So it's the week right after the 4th of July weekend and, fireworks, cookouts, that neighbor that starts early and goes hard way into the night. Great. As our dogs hide under the beds. Um, but that's all right. But here on That Solo Life, we're talking about a different kind of independence and the kind that, well, might not require sparklers, but you might want to light one up anyway, right?
Right. Because while everybody is still celebrating one kind of freedom, even this week, there is a quieter independent story that's happening in our own industry. And so for once, the big trade headlines are saying out loud what a lot of us have known for years. Going independent is no longer the risky little sibling of the agency world. It might actually be the smart money.
Sweet. So today we're going to get into why. There's a provocative article, there's some fresh data, and one question we want every solo and small shop listener to sit with. What if the thing you were told to apologize for is exactly your advantage?
Let's get into it. So, the spark for this episode today, it was actually inspired by a PR news article.
Mm.
And the headline of the article is Old School is the New School: How Independent PR is Outrunning the Holding Company Model.
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. And shout out to Jennifer Risi. She is the founder and president of the Sway Effect who wrote this article. And I love the framing because her whole argument is that the future of PR looks a lot like the past. Oh, thank God. Not the bloated 14 layers of approval past, though, because no one wants that. But the version that existed before scale became the only thing anyone measured, right? We're getting back to the work, to the relationships, to the accountability, to the straight talk, to being that partner that actually picks up the phone when a client needs you.
Yeah, and the timing is pretty pointed. Even though this was
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, it came out around Cannes Lions while the trades were full of the opposite story, merger after merger and a historic agency names getting absorbed into network, and the big one that this article points to is Ketchum and Golan combining.
Yeah. And there's even a physical symbol that she pointed to that I just can't stop thinking about. WPP gave up its prized beach space at Cannes and an independent took it over. But the real estate of the industry right there, literally changing hands, which is really exciting.
Wow. And then, there's the part that, should truly make all of us pause. In this article, she wrote that holding companies cut headcount by an average of 8% in 2025. And of course, we will link to all of the source data in the show notes, but there was a forecast attributed to Forrester that of a 15% reduction in 2026.
Wow. And yeah, you flagged that to me before we came on air. It's not
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
I you know, it no one is celebrating that. We
No.
love seeing independence finally get some recognition that it's
Right.
a worthy business model, but we will never celebrate layoffs and, our
No.
peers in the industry struggling.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, we'll link to that article, and, we wanted to just share those stats, but you'll have the source material so that you can check out that for yourself
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, definitely. And, there is a line in there that's probably going to stand out to a lot of people. One global holding company CEO reportedly said, anonymously, of course, by 2028, we'll double the profits and have the people. And again, we're not dancing on anybody's occupational grave. And, these CEOs, anyway, I won't
I mean,
delve into that, but
doubling profits and having the people. So I think, the unspoken truth there is that they probably think that with technology, AI, that they will probably be able to get the work done in a more efficient way. I It will be interesting to see how that plays out because of
yeah,
course in the short term we're seeing a bloodbath across so many
yeah,
industries. but that's not going to last. And we all know that.
Mm, no.
So
And,
we're
you know,
not co-signing that thinking
no.
at all, because I feel like even though that quote is not attributed to a specific person, it definitely reflects a mood and it's a model that we're seeing where people are just being treated like a cost to cut.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, definitely, and, and we're already seeing, though, how some corporations who did this earlier, they're hiring people back. I've seen it in the automotive industry.
Yes.
What are they calling it? They're hiring back the graybeards because their AI initiatives are failing miserably, and it's costing them money. So we shall see. But another thing that Reese brings in this article is the receipts, which we always like. We like to have proof. We like to have the facts. Um, and the proof she's presenting is on the side of us independents.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, from, O'Dwyer's independent PR firm rankings in 2026, they showed that the independent sector pushed combined fee income to 4.8 billion. And out of the top 140 independent firms that they surveyed, nearly a third of those posted double-digit growth.
Wow. One third. Double digits. That's amazing. And, that's something for all of us to sit with and think about as we think, "Oh, I can't go after that business. I'm too little."
Yeah.
No, and this is all in the same year that the large corporations are announcing layoffs. So as we say so often, there is work to be had out there.
I completely agree with you, Michelle. And, you know, for those who weren't on that growth trajectory, I hope that this gives you some hope and some confidence that, you know what,
Yeah.
it is our moment, and work is being awarded. We just have to hang in there, do the business development, stay consistent, and don't get discouraged.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And there's another stat that made me go, "What?" A 2025 joint study from the ANA and the 4 A's found that clients stay with independent agencies an average of 7.3 years. At holding company agencies, only 5.8 years.
I
We'll
mean,
take
I
it.
wanna be honest with you and tell you that I'm actually surprised the holding company number is that high because
Yeah.
anecdotally, I think that if we polled our solos, I hear this all the time, we keep clients for a long time. People have clients for 10,
Yep.
15, 20 years.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
I mean, but this data shows, that we independents keep our clients a year and a half longer. They stick around. And I think that, what that tenure actually measures, it's not vanity, but it's trust.
Mm-mm.
And it's trust that's renewed over and over again. That's amazing. That should make every
Yeah.
independent out there feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really want not just us to, but all of our solo listeners to really take ownership of that because you are part of that. It's not like, "Oh, you're independent. Oh, you're just freelancing then, and you're not very stable." What if you can't hold on to clients where, many of us can say, we've had clients sticking around for quite a while as opposed to agencies, and,
Yeah.
I think that stems back to the relationships we build with them, among other
Oh,
things,
I completely agree. And again, we say this a lot. We've talked about the differences between large agencies and small agencies. And
Mhm.
I believe, and I know you do too, we believe on this show that they both have a place and, they're both
Oh, yeah.
important, but they're very different, when you have a huge org chart, there are just some things that maybe don't happen. With independent agencies, you have direct access to the person who's actually doing the work. Think about the power of that.
Yeah.
This is somebody
Yeah.
who knows the business well, and you can call them with an idea before they call you with a problem. I mean, that's powerful.
Yeah, that is everything, and, we also have that opportunity to make our clients think that, we're almost like a concierge service for their promotions, and that's because it's true.
Yeah.
So, the big question then is, why now? Why is
Yeah,
this
and
happening now?
yeah, exactly. I think you're right. Like independence has already it's always existed. And we've seen, not just with Solo PR Pro, we've seen how much, independent practitioners contribute to the GDP.
Yeah,
This it's not anything new. It's just I
right.
think that we're seeing it really come to the forefront in the PR industry. So, let's
Yeah.
pull that thread a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's two things colliding at once, right? You've got the holding company model. It got so big before, and then it started optimizing the wrong things, right? They of course, your number cruncher is going to be like margin, margin, margin over the relationships. And how often have we said business is kind of like dating? If your significant other, your client, doesn't feel attended to, they're going to start probably either, if not looking elsewhere, thinking about breaking up with you. And then, of course, AI showed up and turned
Yeah.
everything on its head, because that has empowered us independents to work even smarter and keep up the pace. So,
Yeah, I mean, and say more about, that whole AI piece because
yeah.
the article does make an argument that I think is probably counterintuitive for a lot of people.
Oh, totally. Yeah, she makes the point that, AI doesn't make communications less important. It makes human judgment more valuable,
Yeah.
right? The reasoning isn't up to snuff because you know best. You know your client best. You know the actual landscape best. You're living it. So when the media environment is as fragmented as it is, the culture shifts so quickly. And, now you've got machine generated speed and volume piled on top. And, clients need a human who can get in there and, tell them what's real, what really matters in all that noise, and what actually to do next. Like, what is our next step? And you can't automate that.
I agree. Judgment does not live in headcount. It lives
No.
in a person.
Yeah.
So, picture the client whose product gets dragged in some online pileup at 9 p.m. on a Friday night. They don't need 14 people and a deck. They need one trusted voice who says, here's what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Here's what we ignore. And here's the one thing that we can do tonight.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And a solo can be that voice instantly. And, because there's nothing between you and making the call. And yeah, I know I've been that person as I'm doom scrolling in the evening. You're like, oh,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and I think the message to companies that are not getting this is that's why we bet on people over scale.
right.
And that's the line that matters more than any single statistics. Independence wins not because it's but because being smaller forces you to be all of the things that scale lets you avoid:
Mhm.
accountable, responsive, and close to the work.
That's so true. So true. And here's where we can really ring in, the 4th of July metaphor. Independence does not mean you don't have structure, right? Independence is choosing what you carry. So the author of this article, Risi, she has the idea about not carrying what clients don't need, right? So for a solo, that's your entire operating model, right? We don't have the machinery to root things through. We don't have to say, oh, well, it has to, we have to take that into our little committee and blah, blah, blah. You're the strategy and the execution and the phone call. You can solve a client's problem with much more, speed, efficiency, and I don't want to say correctness, but,
Yeah.
again, we're not slacking off on big agencies, but when there's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts, things take longer. That's just how it is. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, let's shout that because there is freedom in that. But, if we're being honest, there's also weight in it too. And
Yeah.
I honestly think a lot of people, a lot of solos, if you talk to them, that's one of the reasons that they were attracted to working like that. They
Yeah.
wanted that weight. So, And I feel like, when you're called to it, it's not really a weight. It's what your assignment is.
Yeah.
So I love that, but we are
Yeah.
so close, and I know
Yeah.
none of us takes that for granted. I had a
No.
little crisis situation last week with a client, and
Oof.
I felt it in every piece of my being, but
Yeah.
I was able to focus in on it, concentrate, and really not only give them what they asked for, but much more, and help to tailor the thinking and guard against it in the future. Fortunately, it was just a little blip on the
Oh, good.
radar, but
Yeah.
we do. Because we're close to the work, because we know the
Yeah.
people, these are the kind of things that just, make our work so rich and so rewarding.
So true. So true. I mean, I tell my clients all the time, I become your champion, and it's because I get to know you. I care about you. And, I want you to win.
Yeah,
It's not just, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Cash your check, blah, blah." I think it's a double-edged sword in our business. You can't
for
just
sure.
run the numbers and put it out of your mind. But, with all our rah-rah talk, we don't want to romanticize this too much, right? I mean, this article was mostly about independent agencies, firms with teams, such as she mentions in it, the sway effect. But, like you and I, a lot of our listeners are solos or, we work with partners on projects, which, really distills it down to the true meaning of independence.
It does. I mean, I think it makes us the purest version of
Mm,
what this article describes. So, all the things that are credit to independence, the trust, the responsiveness, the direct access, the judgment, a solo PR pro embodies all of it with nothing in between. So, that's the advantage, and it's fully concentrated.
right. That same concentration is the hard part, right? When you're the whole agency, there's no bench, no
Yeah.
one to hand it off to, with the midnight crisis off to, no colleague down the hall to sanity check the risky call. So the freedom and the isolation, they come in the same box.
Yeah.
Um, but, I think most of our listeners out there, we have each other. We have sounding boards. Like I know I could ping you, Karen, and go, "Oh, what do you think about this?" So that's the beauty of our solo community.
And I will say, sorry, shameless plug, but what the article didn't know is that Solo PR Pro exists. So
That's right.
that's our unique superpower for Solo PR Pro members is that
Yeah.
yes, many people are independent or have, one or two people or just work with contractors. However, we are definitely not alone, and we have a community, and we have all of those same benefits of colleagues and people that you can tap that are experts in different subjects. So I
Yeah.
had to say that because that
Oh,
excites me
yeah.
too, that there is a niche being filled. But you're right. The honest tension that we always come back to is that the market is finally validating independence.
Yeah.
And the data is telling us that clients want exactly what we offer. So the
Woohoo.
headlines say the old model is straining. This is definitely our moment. So woohoo!
And
Happy
and
Independence Day to independence.
I feel like I have to go set off some firecrackers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is you don't have to, excuse me, be alone to be independent. I got so excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I love this. And again, solo
It's
PR pro. I'm sorry, but the headlines write themselves for this
exactly.
episode.
It's
And I
so
love our
true.
members. I mean, we have a
Yeah,
unique group of people that
we
are
do.
our members that are so smart. And I love that we are built for independent practitioners. We were built
Yeah,
by independent practitioners.
yeah.
And, you know, it's nobody hands you that solo path on your own.
No.
It's just handed to you by default, but
Yeah,
with this peer support, you definitely have the resources and the hand-holding and
yeah.
the gut checks and all of those things that you need.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you and Kelly before you have developed all kinds of great proprietary resources for the solo, for everyone from who's just starting out to seasoned. I can't, yes, I'm here on this podcast, but I will say it again because I probably haven't said it in 100 episodes or so. Seeing way back in the beautiful Twitter days, just seeing that this existed made me realize I could do this. There were other people as like, "What?" Like me
Yeah.
to do it, and I have to say our members are kind, they're generous, they're sincere. It's truly a beautiful, safe place. Our Facebook group is private. It's a safe room. You can ask a question you would never post publicly out of fear of, "Oh, people are gonna think I don't know what I'm doing." But no, no.
Yeah.
You can ask about, "Hey, I just fired a client," or "Am I crazy, or is this brief impossible?" Or "What do you mean they want all this for, like, so little money? Should I waste my time?" And you can get answers from people who've been exactly where you are. And I always say it's like the best online staff meeting ever.
Yeah.
There
It's
we go.
basically all the upside of
Yeah.
independence, but none of the
Yep.
isolation.
That's true. That's true. So check it out at soloprpro.com. But as the fireworks continue to go off, I'm sure, because once these people buy their fireworks, they'll be shooting them off all summer.
Unfortunately.
Here's our toast. We're toasting the independence to all
Yes,
of
we are.
us, to everyone who bet on yourself and who bet on people over scale. We salute you, and we are grateful to have you in our community.
And I, for one, am celebrating that the market is finally catching up to where we always were. So, solos, keep going.
Yep, keep going. Visit soloprpro.com. Check our podcast out. It's at thatsololife.com where we have past episodes. And if you want to see us on YouTube, and if you did get benefit from this, please do share it around. That's how we grow, right? And until next time, thanks for listening to That's Solo Life.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.